welcome to Four Records. I'm Forrest.
Oh, and I'm Karina.
This week we speak with Reid Chancellor, author of Hardcore Anxiety and Hardcore Happiness, and comic artist. This is one of my favorites that we've done so far. Yeah,
I I totally agree, but I agree because the music that he picked, I don't know if I should say it or if we should just should wait until people hear what he has to say is it's very Karina in the sense of of just like the genre and the music. I feel like if people have been following along me on the sidelines, they've seen how I've evolved from punk to not so much punk anymore. And that's all right.
it is
But
all right.
this is so good. This episode is definitely one of my favorites that not only I've been able to come back and record, but just like overall on the show because it was such a easy. It felt like I know I just met Reid, but I still feel like I'd known him for a long time.
He's one of the warmest people I've met, like interviewing and
Mm-hmm.
doing all this in like the last like I've only been doing the interviews for like the last year, but one of the warmest and like nicest people I've met. Like totally cool and a great conversationalist as you're gonna hear in a minute.
I mean, he picks up everything that we put down, and I do want to say that it's so good again being back, but it's so interesting. When we had Josh on, it was like the music was amazing, the conversation flowed, but here it just felt like we were all hanging around having a cup of coffee. It felt like
Yeah.
old friends catching up and getting in deep.
Yeah,
Like
it
and
was so
shout
much fun.
out if anybody loves Randy Newman, they're gonna love this episode.
Yeah.
That's all I'm gonna say.
All right, well here is Reed's Four Records.
Hello. Hey, how's it going?
It's going good, man. How you doing?
I am doing well.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thanks for doing this.
Absolutely. Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I'm excited.
Oh,
Yeah,
this is gonna be a good episode. I can feel it in my bones.
these were good. I got a
Hmm.
lot on the Monkees. Let me tell you.
Oh, all
Oh
right.
yeah. I think I think we all do when it comes to the Monkees because they're such an iconic band. You
Mhm.
always know one song by them. And I was actually thinking about it. Like I wrote this to Forrest. I was like, oh my God. I was listening to Daydreamer Believer, and I was just sitting there going, oh, this reminds me of the Sabrina episode with the witch, Sabrina the Teenage Witch episode where what's his face performed it, and it's just like, oh my God, there's so many cool memories attached to this
Yeah.
band.
Oh yeah. Well, and like I know like my wife always talks about like the Davy Jones and I think maybe one other guy, but they were in like an episode of Boy Meets World like a couple and
Yeah,
Three
like so that's
three of
like
them
my
were
wife
on.
like okay, that's right. Yeah, because I knew because Mickey we have favorites like because
oh yeah.
I'm not a Beatles guy really. I like the
Okay.
Monkees more than I like the Beatles. And that's partially like because my dad is such a big Beatles fan.
My dad
But
too. So
and so I was just kind of like, oh, I that's different. And then like something about the Monkees, I don't know. It was that was just like the first CD we bought, and that's the
Mm.
one we had. And so I always just remember that. But like we have me and my wife, we have favorite Monkees rather than favorite Beatles, which is
oh, that's
always kind of
awesome.
funny. Yeah.
Yeah, no, the Monkees, did they show the Monkees in your area, like the show when you were a kid? Because that's how I got into them. My aunt was really into the Monkees when they had that comeback in the 80s.
Hmm.
And out here they showed the TV show like every afternoon, like it was fucking Saved by the Bell.
Yeah, no, they didn't. I didn't. I don't think I knew there was a TV show
Mm-mm.
like at all. And I just remember being like, "That's weird." They have a theme song for like their band, and I remember thinking that was weird, like
Yeah.
on the best of. I just Yeah, and like I had no idea the lore or the history that they were like not a real like a
No.
real band technically or any of that. I was just like, oh yeah, no, this is them. This is their band, and they kind of just like meld all of like the cool like favorite parts of the 60s music like just all
Yeah.
kind of blends together because they were like, oh, this song's popular. The Monkees should do a song like these guys.
Hmm.
Like so it's just
You
kind of like
hear
they
the
all
Beach Boys, you hear like all the psychedelic shit. I mean, it goes into
yeah,
everything. And I mean, because Last Train to Clarksville is such a good song. What I'm su-
such a good song. Yeah.
what I'm surprised about though is that no one, you have no one's done a cover of Pleasant Valley Sunday, and that's like proto pop punk, if anything. Like not like
Yeah.
proto
Oh
punk
yeah.
like for Stooges and MC5 would be for like the New York stuff, but like Pleasant Valley Sunday is a proto pop punk song.
Yeah, it's odd. I've never seen like there's not yeah, not a lot of people are covering them because everyone, there's everyone covers Stepping Stone as like kind of like the
Hmm.
proto like
Yeah,
hardcore song kind of like because you had Sid Vicious cover it and then you had and then Minor Threats covered it and like that's kind of like the de facto one that people do. But I'm surprised, yeah, Pleasant Valley Sunday or even like I mean, yeah, well, Last Train to Clarksville. I feel like I've heard some covers of that, but like that was like my first band. That's the song we covered. Like that
oh,
was
did
like
you
our
guys
first
really?
cover song. Yeah, we never recorded it or anything, but
Oh,
we like our very first show we played, that was our opener. We would go back and forth between playing that and then Blister in the Sun by the Vinyl Femmes.
nice.
So we would go, those were our two openers that would be our covers that we would play.
That's awesome. Yeah, you don't see anybody cover outside of, you're right, outside of Stepping Stone. That was gonna be one of the questions I have. What's your favorite out of the two, the Sex Pistols cover or the Minor Threat one? Which one do you like more?
Uh I like the Minor Threat one more. Um just because I really don't like the Sid. I just don't like Sid singing at all. Like I think it's just not. Yeah, I don't know. It's a little too noisy. Whereas, like, I do feel like Minor Threat's just quicker. They just
Yeah.
they bang it out and then they're done. And so I like that one better.
And
Um,
it sticks to the song better than than that one does than the Sex Pistols
Hmm.
one does too. Like
yeah,
it has
for
even
sure.
that breakdown is just it's the same. It's just hardcore.
Yeah, exactly.
I hadn't heard the later stuff like the 80s stuff towards the
Hmm.
end of that album of that best of. Because like I said, my aunt was obsessed with the Monkees. She has that she had the poster because I think it was Peter didn't go on that tour. And so the poster was Davey and Mike and Mickey, and then it's Davey holding a bear that's got a beanie on.
Yeah,
As like that's like the where's Peter? Like Peter's not here. One thing I noticed about the song that they put on there that was then This Is Now song, and it kind of wraps
yeah.
in with your honorable mention of
Hmm.
the soundtrack to That Thing You Do. Is
Hmm.
that last song? And I didn't pick this up until now. That last song that they play at the very end of the movie when they're doing the credits. It
Yeah,
sounds like that was then This Is Now. Like it's a similar song. I didn't pick up on that until like this listen
sure.
through.
Yeah. No, I can definitely see that. And that's also, I mean, that was like, because that thing you do, like, I credit that thing you do with like that's the reason I started playing music in general.
Oh, nice.
And I've written about that in a couple comics of mine and just things like I saw that movie and I was like, oh, I want to be a musician because that's what like I wanted those experiences.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And specifically like wanted to be a drummer because of Guy Patterson in that thing you do. And then later on, like that was just a CD we always listened to as a family. And because my parents loved that movie, they're big Tom Hanks fans. They liked all of it. The songs are really good. And then later, like finding out, oh, that's the Fountains of Wayne guy, like all doing all like most of those songs.
Yeah.
And just the songwriting is so good in it. I know Tom Hanks wrote like a lot of the lyrics, which I thought that was pretty surprising just because I
Mr.
didn't expect Tom
Downtown.
Hanks to be. Well, I mean, well, yeah, exactly. And I feel like most people, when I thought, like, most people don't know all of those references, but I feel like in my mind, like, I am quoting that thing you do constantly,
Oh,
just with
same.
Ah.
like, literally just like, here come these boys playing that thing, chasing up the charts, and like just all of that, or even just like, you guys look good in black. If I told you that, like,
Yeah.
say that. That's what we do. That's like me and my family. That's all we like could live in quoting that thing you do.
Yeah, that's one of them too. We where do you want to go to dinner? Villa Pianos.
Yeah. Or yeah, hey, that's on Netters.
Yeah, Theo
Always is a
Netters.
good one. It's
That's
like,
in the I'm writing that punk rock comic I'm writing, the one about the all
mhm.
girl band. They
Yeah,
mess up their name specifically because of that thing you do.
it's so good. It's just like so perfectly smart. And then of course, like the band that I was in for the longest time was called Scandalmongers, and we got our name mispronounced every show we ever played that someone announced us. And so I'm like, you know what? Maybe I guess I was just like willing that into existence, that I was going to have that same exact experience where someone was going to get on stage and say, here comes the opening act, the Scoundrel Monkees. And
Yeah.
like we'd have to, well, I guess that's who we are tonight. Like that's
Did you get the scandal moungers and the scandal mount, like just every wrong way that they can do it, or was there one specific
yeah,
one?
I would get like Scandal Moaners,
Oh my God.
Scoundrel Mongeries. We did get one that was like the guy, like I remember he specifically said it with a question mark. And that was I think worse. It's like I'd rather you just butcher it and just be confident. But he was like the Scoundrel Monogers.
Monogers?
It was, I mean, I heard every different kind. We were gonna make a shirt that was the Sandal Monsters, because somebody I think did once call. I don't know if anyone actually ever called us the Sandal Monsters, but I remember being like, "Oh, that's a good idea. We'll just have a giant shirt that's a sandal monster, and then no one will know, no one will get the reference other than us." And but yeah, we never did that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Does this record hit you any different today than it did when you were a kid?
Um, I think a little bit, yeah. Just it's one of those things to where that was a record that I like. We traveled to Heroes Con in June with my daughter and my wife, and that was a record that we could easily put on like
Mhm.
with our
Mhm.
child and like not have to worry about anything being weird. Or and also like the music's pretty upbeat. I mean, there are some psychedelic parts, but like I didn't think it didn't bother my daughter at all. And so I just kept listening to it over and over and over again, just that record on repeat. And I remember just being like, man, this is just the songwriting is really, really good. And I think people
Yeah.
discount that just because, yeah, the Monkees themselves weren't writing the songs, but since
But the
when does
t
that really matter?
Yeah,
Like,
I was about to say, but the team behind them, they were talented and got paid. So,
yeah, for sure. Exactly. And those guys, like, they wrote some really cool stuff and just different. And I started to have like a new appreciation for the fact that it's like, I don't think the Monkees were ever trying to fool us. And that, I think that was kind of why I really have drawn to it. Like, like, everyone's always like, oh, well, they're like the fake band. They're not a real band because they're not really playing those songs or writing them or anything. But it's like, Elvis didn't write songs, and I feel like Elvis kind of acted like he did write them. And the
yeah.
Monkees were sort of like, no, we're actors. Like we're actors and singers. We're entertainers. This is who
Yeah.
we are. There was no like front, and it was kind of just like embracing that kind of made it cooler. I don't know, like sort of like wrestlers. Like I mean, not to. I guess we can tie the Monkees into professional wrestling a little bit, but like
We're doing it
Let's
now.
do
We're
it.
doing it
that's
now.
that's.
The
I mean, it's
Monkeys
kind of the same.
WWE edition.
Exactly. Yeah, like that. That's. I feel like they're like, yeah, we're gonna own it. Like that. We're entertainers and performers. This doesn't have to be. It's not. If you want something super authentic and thought provoking, you can go listen to Bob Dylan, and
Mhm.
there's nothing wrong with that. I love Bob Dylan, but that's not what you're getting from the Monkees, and that's fine. And I think I have a newfound appreciation for that, just for like owning the fact that they're like, nope, we are who we are, and that is it.
Yeah, but they've also never stated that they're anything else. It's just I wouldn't say haters, the people that just, I mean, we could call them haters, but it's just a different level because there's hating the music and then there's just hating them specifically for
Mhm.
replying where was it, like the casting call came in Vanity Fair, if I recall, or
I
something
think
like that.
so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they just answered it. So what's like they got a job out of it. So
Yeah.
when like, it's fair enough, you can hate the music. That's where I will call you a hater. But like if you just hate people for seeing an opportunity and going for it, that's in my book, there is something wrong with you. Like,
Oh
just be
yeah, yeah,
glad. Just be glad on their behalf. Like, you
yeah.
don't need to be a
And they've all
shithead.
done cool shit since then too. I mean, like
Hmm.
it was a great leap jump pad for them. I mean, all the movies Mike Nesmith produced. I mean, we don't have Repo Man
Oh
without
yeah.
Mike Nesmith
Yeah, no, and that's like
or Tapeheads for that reason.
that yeah, exactly, like that connection is kind of crazy. And then I mean, like finding out later, because I was later to like hardcore music and things, and then
Hmm.
finding like the connection we were talking a little bit like with the Monkees to hardcore connection and to punk connection is odd a little bit, just because it's not expected. Like I feel like, we have the Kinks connection is a little bit more so, but no one's really ever talking about the Beatles in connection to punk music, and or not often, and like
Hmm.
more so than like the Kinks and the Beach Boys, in that just like exploration and like avant-garde mindset. Those are way more talked about, and I feel like the Monkees deserve a little bit more credit in that, with just because they were this commercial item, they're kind of just like written off. But it's like, no, they were still like, I mean, the I guess I'm spinning around just to get to the point that it's like the proof is in the songs. The songs are so good, and that's that. Like the
Yeah.
songwriting is perfect,
Hmm.
and I will say I was astounded at how short so many of the songs are. And I think that was also a big, like, impressive thing. They're just like, no, we don't need to dilly dally. Like, there's like,
Yeah.
this doesn't need to be 3 minutes long. This song it's like that Keith Morris scene in American Hardcore where he's just like, trim the fat. Doesn't matter. Cut the bridge. Don't do an instrumental. Song's out of there in 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and we're fine. And that's all you need.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's so true because I mean, looking at my attention span, I prefer it when a song doesn't go over like, I don't know, 5 minutes. I
Mhm,
like it when it's short and sweet and precise.
mhm. Exactly. Like
I
if there's a
Yeah.
reason for it being super long, then I can get that. But I mean, I'm not like a prog guy, or even like, I mean, like I said, I love Bob Dylan, but it's like I don't need every song doesn't need to be Desolation Row. Like
No, no, exactly.
I don't need that. Like
And I
I
don't
just
need and I don't need your neighbor's name, their cat's name, their I don't need
yeah.
the backstory. I mean, just you coming with your perception this now. I don't need the
Mhm.
past. The past is done. It's in the past. That's why it's called the past. Let's
Yeah.
just talk about how you're feeling now. But
Ex-
yeah, the Monkees. Fuck, I love them.
Mhm.
Did you ever see Head, the movie?
No, I haven't. No.
It's streaming on something like Tubi or something. Like I've seen it once, and it's interesting. Like Jack Nicholson pops up because Bob Rafelson was the one who did all this stuff, and
Yeah.
he was like an early collaborator with Nicholson. But yeah, it's interesting, and it's just them. It's the exact movie that you expect it to be. It's not exactly the show, but it's weird. It's weird as shit.
Yeah, I think I remember. Yeah, I was like, I'm pulling it up now just to remind myself, because I was like, I know I was looking into this. I was dancing around like trying to do a Monkeys comic at one point, and then
Oh, that's cool.
I backed off doing it because like the more I dove in, the more I was like, man, there's just it would take so long to flesh out all of the weird connections, because I remember just like listening to like just reading the cameo appearances for Head is insane, with it's just like Jack Nicholson, Terry Garr, Frank Zappa, like
Well, Frank Zappa pops up on the
that.
show too.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and then like and then all the stuff like Dennis Hopper, and then Tony Basil was the film choreographer, like all of that stuff. It's like there's
Hmm.
just so much, and I feel like it would take me years to flesh out, so I abandoned doing that idea. But I need to, if it's on Tubi, I'm gonna make a note of that because I need
Yeah,
to see
it's an interesting watch. It's fun.
it.
I have no idea what Tubi is. I also thought you said Toby, and I'm going
Oh,
to give myself that. We don't have Tubi in Denmark, I think.
yeah, it's just a free one. Like if you want to watch, see, you would love Tubi for all the fucked up horror that you like, because Tubi is half fucked up horror. It's
Yeah, it says we're sorry. Tubi is the largest free movie and TV streaming service in the US.
yeah, no,
Well,
it's like half fucked up and fucked up horror, and then like a quarter music documentaries that you haven't seen in like 15 years. And then
Oh,
Yeah.
it's
yeah.
my vibe. It's exactly
Yeah,
my
no, it's
jam.
100% like
I
the
think that's
cream
what
of
I've
streaming
like.
network.
I think that's what I've used it mostly for is like the music movies and music docs that are all on there.
Yeah.
Because yeah, there's a lot.
I
Hey,
just watched
Tubi, if
I just watched a Swedish Evil Dead remake off of there this weekend.
oh shit, was it good?
It's better than the remake they did out the remake they did, the official remake they did. I was not a fan. Um,
Yeah.
your teen album is Calibretto 13 Adventures in Tokyo.
Yes.
This was my first Calibretto 13 album.
Okay, I kind of figured it would have to be because they're a pretty regional known band. So they're like from Kokomo, Indiana. So I grew up in Evansville, Indiana. So they're
Yeah.
from like 5 hours north of me. But like I never saw them live. Like I came to them past when they
Yeah.
broke up. But that was like so I grew up in a very religious household. And so we had a lot of my dad had like 70s and 80s rock music and things like that, but there was like in the time of like American Idiot being like super popular, that was like not a record that we were supposed to have in like our house. um and so like I was like, well, I want to listen to like more like modern stuff, and somebody was like, oh, you should check out this punk band Calibretto, and I was like, okay. And then I looked it up and I was like, these guys sound like they're singing like VeggieTales songs, like a little bit. Like his voice is so weird. Very much explains like my music DNA because it sounds like folky. It's kind of like the Dead Milkmen. It kind of sounds like Violent Femmes. Like it sounds
Yes.
like all of those things. It
I
makes
put
perfect
down
sense.
I put down this feels like Against Me had a three-way with Violent Femmes and the Dead
Oh
Milkmen,
my
but they're unsure who the dad is, the Violent Femmes or the Dead Milkmen.
Yeah,
god.
absolutely. Absolutely. And it's so funny to me because it's even so like now so the lore of Calibretto 13 was like a Christian folk punk band
Mhm.
signed to Tooth and Nail Records, and then they dropped the 13 and they became not a Christian band anymore. And they put out a few releases under just the name Calibretto, and they kind of became like a horror punk band, like surf horror punk folk. And then that
I'm
band turned into
listening.
the biggest.
Yeah, yeah, we
I'm
want
into this.
can you send
It
that
is like
name?
It's just
yeah,
Calibretto without the 13, right?
yeah, Calibretto just without the 13. And then that band turned into the band Harley Poe, which is a
Oh,
full like, do you know Harley Poe?
I've heard the
Yeah.
name.
Okay, yeah, so they're like a horror punk, horror folk band, very much like Harley Poe is essentially the Violent Femmes with a horror movie obsession. Like that is that band. That's what they described themselves. I first heard it was like Gordon Gano had an obsession with a slasher flick. That
They
is
You've
Harley
sold
Poe.
me on Harley Poe.
And
yeah,
so
but
and
they have a very funny song. Well, it's not funny, but it has a funny title. Something can be cannibals.
yeah, transvestites can be cannibals too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's the song. So that is all Calibretto 13, Calibretto, and Harley Poe all have the same main guy behind all of it, and that's Joe Whiteford, who is a personal friend of mine now. Like eventually we became buddies. I like messaged him on MySpace when I was in like middle school when I first heard his band, and I was like, can we like can how did you write songs? And like he's very, very kind. Like watched you like we've met up multiple times now. I've gone to see him play still. Every time he comes to town, me or my band or someone that I'm playing with will typically open. And then he's also done artwork for three releases I've done. So he did like album cover illustrations and all that. So I love Joe to death. One of my like literally probably the biggest reason I started writing songs is him and his music. But the start, before all of the horror movie and like horror aesthetic and things kind of came in, Joe had this like Christian punk band that was the first band that I was like kind of I felt like I was allowed to listen to, as well as like was mine. There's like it's not music like my dad would like. It's not music any of my friends like because no one's heard it. It was just like I found this CD and then I was like, this is it. This is the kind of weird music I want to write that makes that's fast, but it's played with an acoustic guitar. There's random harmonica solos all the time, and then there's also like crazy weird like surf riffs that are kind of like crampsy, but then not. And it's like I've heard Joe talk about it, and it's like all of the people that would like reach out and be like, "Hey, yeah, you sound like you ripped off the Dead Milkman," and he's like, "I don't know who that is," because he just like kind of lived in a bubble. He didn't know who
Yeah.
half these bands were, and I think that's kind of part of the charm because it is like it is yeah, it's like you said, it's
Mhm.
like
If you
Against Me had a three-way with Gordon Gano and Dead Milkman and like just kind of smashed it together and then gave him a Bible and then they were like, I guess this is what we're gonna do, and they just
but
write these songs.
but even
This is
then,
the
like even
best
if, oh, good.
description.
Go ahead.
Sorry, Forrest.
No,
This
go
is the
for it.
best description of a band I've ever actually heard. I mean, I think that actually beats Josh from School of Drugs description of Emotron.
Oh
I
God, Evotron.
Yeah, but I think this is interesting, and I feel like I need to give it a second chance now because I did not. This was probably not. I'm weird too.
Yeah. Well, in it, I know it's such like a weird. It doesn't make sense. Like, and I love like the story of it. Like, really does impact it. Like
Uh-huh.
seeing where Joe went, and like I love when people find out that like when they're like big like horror movie people or things like that, and they're just like, oh, I love the band Harley Poe, and then they find out that the lead singer was also in like
Yeah,
this
but that's what.
Christian.
Yeah, but this is what's going through my mind now
Yeah, for
because
sure.
I
Yeah, and
like
it's just
her.
like, yeah.
Like, how do we get from there to here? What's the yeah?
And
Now,
it's
and my mind's blown now, and I have to give it a second chance, a third
it'll
chance.
be it will be even crazier if you go and listen to so this is so Adventures in Tokyo, which is the record I picked. That's their second
Yeah.
album. That, in my opinion, is the more palatable one because the first record, the first Calibretto album or first Calibretto 13 album is a lot more Jesus-y in weird ways. Like almost kind of like, are they making fun of it or not? Like I didn't know. Like I kind of there's like one part where they're just like, I wish I had a friend named Jesus. And I was like, oh, this is a joke. But I don't think it was. I think they were just like, we don't know what we're doing.
I didn't even pick up that that was a Tooth and Nail record until you said that. I was like, oh wait, shit,
Mhm.
this is a Tooth and Nail record.
And it's a weird Tooth and Nail record. Like it's kind of I don't think it really fits in with most other Tooth and
No.
Nail stuff. But I also know like Calibretto was like a huge part of Sidewalk Slam getting signed to, if you
Okay.
know Sidewalk Slam, that
Yeah.
I've
pop
heard
punk
the
band.
name years ago.
Uh,
It's
like
been
and
a
they're
minute.
like that they turned into Run Kid Run, but that those were both Tooth and Nail bands. And
Yeah.
Sidewalk Slam kind of got on Tooth and Nail because of Calibretto. They toured together. Joe did art for them. Oh, like MXPX, like they were buddies, like because MXPX and Calibretto would play shows together. It's
And
just like
that's
weird.
weird too, because like
It
they're
just they're
one
so
of these things
different.
is not like the other.
Yeah, but at the same
That's
time,
the
like if I
fun.
Yeah.
and I would say like you could really, if we really wanted to dissect it, we could say Calibretto 13 has three members, hardcore trio, MXPX trio,
Hmm.
both very fast and both made cut their teeth playing youth groups.
Yeah.
So they
I
kind of
mean,
have the same history, just completely different trajectories.
yeah.
Calibretto did nothing, like nothing big. I think we did find out. I remember I was talking to Joe about this because somebody sent me a message on, like, sent me like an Instagram DM and was like, I just heard Calibretto on a Scooby Doo like cartoon, like a newer one.
Huh.
Like they were playing a song, and it was like, and I don't understand what happened. And I sent it to Joe, and he was like, I had no idea that's happening. No one's told me anything. It's just like,
Oh,
well,
he has to get his money.
I hope he does, and I hope
Yeah.
he is. But I know that like they had and it's funny also like the horror movie thing always stayed with Joe, and I think that's also another story I like within that band is because they released this EP called like the Secret Files from the Danger Brigade, which are the cut songs from their first record that Tooth and Nail was like, these are too weird. You can't put these out. And
You can't put these out.
they were like, there's like a song about Interview with a Vampire, and then there's a Resident Evil song. There's a great song about like about Joe going over to his grandma's house and then her deciding that she's gonna murder him, and then that's the song, and it's like "Grandma's Gonna Die" is the name of the song, and it's like they were Tooth and Nail was like, I don't think we can put this out, and so they didn't put it on the record, but they like later released it as like a separate EP. And it's great, and it's just like they still had that. They fought a lot. I don't know if they really fought with the label. Joe's never said anything to me like animosity towards Tooth and Nail, but yeah, I don't that like that story, that band, everything focused around the music of Joe Whiteford, Calibretto 13, and Harley Poe is like that was everything like in my youth. Like I wrote songs literally based off of like that template. Like I would look at the song, I would learn how to play Harley Poe songs or Calibretto songs, and I would be like, okay, these are the chord progressions that work. So I would just write my own version. Like I remember you hear Bill Stevenson talk about like he listened to the Beatles and like found the template of songwriting, and it's like that was that. The Calibretto 13 was that for me. The weird thing with that record, you know, anyone who goes and like checks it out, like the Calibretto, like because the Jesus stuff on that record is a little bit less invasive. There's a lot of it still, and like,
Mhm.
and there's plenty of theology in that I I do not agree with. I do not abide by, and that Joe doesn't anymore
Mhm.
either. That the guys that in that band they don't either. So because it is very like there's a lot of cringe moments for sure, and so I want to be plain like outright with saying that I'm aware, and I don't know if and Forrest, you may not know this band and Karina as
Yeah.
well. If you haven't heard that, you know the band Blaster the Rocket Man.
No.
Mm, trying to think of
I
a
feel like
what?
you're just making up names now.
No, no, no.
Horace is gonna
No,
like
this is
look.
the they were like they were also known as Blaster the Rocket Boy when they started, and they upgraded to men
Yeah.
when they got older.
Oh wow, so they
But
grew up.
Like the
they
Invisible
did.
Girl, she became the Invisible Woman.
Hmm.
Blaster the Rocket Man.
Exactly. Hmm. But they were kind of like described to me. They were like Christian Dead Kennedys,
I'm
and
in,
they're very similar.
I'm interested.
Definitely check them out because they're similar vein to like Calibretto in that like they used like well, okay. Blast of the Rocket Man had a great album called Succulent Space Food for Teething Vampires.
For
That's
Well,
the
that's
what?
not
name
dead.
of the
That's not Dead Kennedys at all.
yeah, well, and or let me I'm gonna make sure I'm hoping I'm right. I because I like you can barely read it on the cover. But it's like I want to say it's succulent. Maybe it's but the other one they had another album called The Monster That Ate Jesus. That
Oh
was a
my.
really good one. Anatomy of the Monster. Um they were like they would use succulent space food for teething vampires was the name of the record, and they would use like these weird horror movie and science fiction stories as allegories to the Bible stories, and it was like really weird and interesting. And then but the songs were like insane, and they sound very Dead Kennedys, very surf, very like
Yeah.
West Coast pop. They were also from like Indiana and in the 90s, and but like the horror movie connections there. They were just recently reunited and played Audio Feed Fest like this last year, and the lead singer
Mhm.
uh whose stage name was Autobot, he's like a
Nice.
professor in Scotland, I think.
Of
I think
all
I know
places.
he's over he like no he like he did like a dissertation on like the Loch Ness monster. Like that's like what he was I heard something in an interview where he was talking about that. So it's like just these weird connections with like all of these like religious like thinking, and this is kind of like how I was able to sort of I guess finagle my way into like listening to weirder punk music that wasn't like my dad's punk music because my dad
Mhm.
liked the Clash, so I always had that, but it was just different. I will like I've done a comic about this specifically, but the most punk I ever felt in my life was I was listening to Blaster the Rocket Man in the garage, and my dad comes out in the garage, and I stop it, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm just listening to music and drawing." And he's like, "I thought you were using a power tool." And he was like, "No, that was just this band." And my dad was like, "Okay." And then he left. He was like, "Not, don't know what you're doing." But that was like, I was like, I feel so cool. This record sounds like a power tool. That's how fast it is. And
Yeah,
I was
but I
like, that
think
was,
I think there's something amazing. Like, if you have the same music taste as your parents, and that you like going off on your own little path and discovering something new, and them coming out going like, just acknowledging that you're listening to something that they've never heard of before.
Yeah.
That's the coolest.
That's what
still
I'm
do
waiting
that with
for.
my dad.
Yeah. And that's like same. Yeah.
Yeah, I still do it with my dad. I'm like, have you listened to King Gizzard and he's like, stop making up, Karina. Like, now you're just fuck off. And my dad, he's probably one of the coolest people I know. And I have to say this because he will probably listen to this podcast. He says he's so supportive. But it's like, oh yeah. And then he goes like, oh, because when you review music, you sometimes go to shows. And like last year or the year before, he just sent me a text. Hey, are you going to Depeche Mode tonight? I'm going with your stepmom and our friends. And I went, no, I'm staying at home. I mean, you're cool, but you're not go to Depeche Mode with you, cool dad. But yeah. And my kid, like Cassie's my son, he's amazing. He's 9 now, and he has this little music device, and he's discovering his own music taste. Like, it started with Arm's Length and Hunt Mulligan and these guys because I listened to them. But now he's like coming home going like, oh yeah, I heard this cool song. And I went, please don't be anything from Roblox. Please not be something bullshitty like Seal of Brain Rot or something. And he'll just be like, highway to hell. I'm like, I mentioned it before. I think it was to Forrest, like just how iconic it becomes when your kid comes home and just goes like, I've discovered my own band. Like, you're wrong. This is a new band. I've discovered it. You've never heard of it before. There's just something so special about it.
I love writing at Dying Scene, but I feel like I'm doing a disservice to my kids for not being able to find it because I'm always like, check this out, this is fucking cool, and like beating them to it, and I'm like, I'm waiting for them to be all like, this is what I'm listening to, this is pretty kick ass.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
yeah. My daughter's too young, but I know I'm waiting for it. I'm ready for it because I know there's going to be a lot of that. And plus I know it's just going to be like, she's going to be like, Dad, your music's old. I don't want to listen to your old man music. And it's like, that's fine. That's fair. I will concede. I do listen to old man music, but.
Oh yeah. Like, as soon as Bring Me the Horizon became dad rock, I went like, okay. Do you guys have a game called Hitster in America?
Hitster?
It's like it's like a music game where you have to scan a code to listen to a song, and you have to listen to the song to guess what year it came out and stuff like that.
Oh, they've got a few games like that. Like they had one on TV where it was a Shazam game, and it was like, guess the song. And you have to like,
yeah, but here it's likely just what year it came out and stuff like that. And I was playing it with Cass today, and I mean, that's just stupid in itself because he doesn't know music like I know music. He just wants to win. Okay, he kicked my ass earlier in another game. I'm coming off as a really bad parent right now.
No.
This is no judgment. There's no parental judgment.
No. I am very much you let them win a little bit, but you need to teach them to lose. That's my whole thing is, no, everybody knows how to win. Nobody knows how to lose.
And that's the thing. But he was like, what? There was a song that came up. I want to say it was Love Train or something. And I go, oh yeah, it's Love Train. And I couldn't remember who it was by. And he just goes, this sounds so old. You should know who it's from. You're so old. And I'm like, I'm just sitting there going, I'm from 92. Crisscross, you know that song? Yeah, that came out when I was born. And he's like, yeah, well then you should know this song because it sounds as old as the other song you played for me. I'm like, are you fuck? I'm sitting there going, why don't you just love me Just for once, just be like, "You're doing a good job, Mom." It's always, "You're so old."
Oh no, Emily, we mess with each other all the time. And so if I can't find something, she'll go over and point it. She's like, "It's right there, you blind idiot. Why don't you go look for it?" And we just mess with each other. Her birthday, well, for her birthday party the other day, I had to stop in to get like plates or something for the cake. And I saw Pennywise socks, and she doesn't like Pennywise right now. And so I got a small bag and I bought her the socks and I threw them in there. And I'm not gonna put my name on it. I'm just gonna put it there. And if she opens them up in front of everybody, it'll be
She's gonna play it
funny.
cool.
And then she'll know, but it'll be funny. Because I'm the only one who would get her something Pennywise. And then she opens it up and she goes, "I kind of like these."
And you haven't seen them since.
Oh no, there was this Saturday. She liked them. I thought she was gonna throw them at me, but no. And now it sounds like I have a horrible daughter. No, we just mess with each other all the time. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, the older they get, the funner it is to mess with them. Like, I have two kids. Cass, he hates horror movies, and he's 9. And then I have a daughter called Leanna, yes, from Game of Thrones. And she's 6, and she loves horror movies. She's been watching them since she was 3. Like, if she's sick or can't sleep, we have to put on a horror movie. We just go with it. It's perfectly
It works.
acceptable. It works.
Yeah, no, I mean that's like my fear. I'm not a horror movie person. I just don't love gore. Like I'm fine with like thriller and exciting things. I can't handle gore very well. And like that's like the joke because my wife is kind of the same way where we're like, well, if she's really into horror movies, this is gonna be hard. Like this is gonna be tough. It's the same as like we're not super athletic people, so it's like if she's really into soccer,
Oh,
this is
yeah.
also gonna be hard.
Oh, yeah.
You told me you played hockey. You got to have some endurance for hockey.
Yeah, but the thing, yes, true. But with hockey, you start skating. If I stop, I still keep going. I can coast. If I'm running, if I stop, I'm done
I can
moving.
coast.
Like in hockey, I can coast. So
If you run and coast, you're about to slip.
exactly. Yeah. So I did. That was the big thing with hockey. That was like the biggest thing. It's like there's literally no running because you can't run. It's like I can play this sport.
I'll give you that.
Oh, that's brilliant. Oh my God.
All right, so your 20s record was Randy Newman live in London.
That's right. Yeah, speaking of old man music, there
Yeah,
we go.
I was
Like,
going to
literally
segue that earlier.
as he refers to it on that record. Speaking of geriatric rock in general, he refers to himself as geriatric rock, and it's perfect. I don't know why. Like this record, I found this album just I think I probably got it at the library as a joke because I was like, I liked Randy Newman's songs. I thought he was funny.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know any of the stories or anything behind it. And then, like, literally, I listened to that album all the way through, and his storytelling is brilliant. His, like, quips, I was like, I didn't expect this guy to have quips with the orchestra, with, like, young people. He references Arctic Monkeys and Phil Collins randomly at, like, points. And you're just like, what is going on? And then it made me, like, dig deeper into, like, Randy Newman's past and his like legacy and then even just the history of his family with filmmaking because other like most people everyone I knew short people and I
Mhm.
knew You Got a Friend in Me. I knew Pixar
Yeah.
movies
Yeah.
and that was it. And then like I come to find that like super huge pillars of like my life are kind of owed to Randy Newman. Like he co-wrote the movie The Three Amigos, which is one
Yeah.
of my favorite movies of all. And like not just like wrote the songs because he did write some of the songs, but he co-wrote the movie like with
Mhm.
like wrote
Martin.
the script with the Steve Martin and Lauren Mike. And like I was
Yeah.
just like, what? I didn't all of that and then just more stuff. I recently I read the biography that came out on him, The Few Words in Defense of Our Country, and it's so good. And just the history there and just his like his storytelling is so weird and his songwriting is so weird, but it's so smart. You don't realize that he's being smart because he's being funny.
Mhm.
And I think like Bob Dylan gave like a quote like that at one point where he's like, people just forget that Randy Newman's good at what he does just because he's kind of funny. And it's like, it turns out he's like really smart with how he writes, and a lot of people throw him out like as a little problematic because of the way he writes with like taking on personas and characters, which
Yeah.
can be definitely perceived incorrect. But if you know more about it, it's like that's how people like people who think that Short People is a racist song. It's like no, it's making fun of it. Like you're missing the point. And I think
Hmm.
that's kind of that's what I love about this record more than anything is because he's getting to kind of curate it as he's going through it. And then he's just killing it. He's probably like 70 something when that album came out, maybe like late 70s, and he's like as sharp as ever. Piano playing is on point. The orchestrations are great. Just the whole record is so good. And it like that is probably my go-to album that if I have to listen to something or if I need to put something on, I don't know what to listen to, I put that record on.
It's a good one. I liked it, and I like that he didn't play "You've Got a Friend in Me." Like out of all the songs he
Yeah.
could have played, he didn't play it. And I mean,
He didn't play none of his Disney, like nothing that he wrote for a movie. Like it's just his songs. Like it's just his albums. And then he's also like I forget like he wrote a ton of songs that were hits for other people too that I kind of forgot about. You know, the Mama Told Me Not to Come was a hit for Three Dog Night, and then It's Money I Love, and then I mean even like It's Gonna Rain Today. You know, that was a huge hit for Joni Mitchell, and he wrote all these like fantastic hits that people kind of forget that he had his own versions too. And I also like at one point he tells the story. He's like, "Yeah, I did a show with Joe Cocker who had a number one hit with this song, and he just did it in a different key, and I could have done it. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I was
My
about
song."
to, yeah.
He's like I could, and it's like smart. Like, and he's aware of it, and I think that's also what I like. Like Randy Newman is so aware of being ridiculous at the same time as being like, he's kind of this weird joke that I think he's kind of in on, which I think is also respectable. Like
Mhm.
similar to like I guess the Monkees. Like he's fully aware of what he is and his character and how he's perceived.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't ever think I only know I only knew the Joe Cocker version of You Can Leave Your Hat On.
Mhm.
I always knew that it wasn't written by him, and I knew it was written by Randy Newman, who, by the way, I still believe is one of the most charismatic men in music. Like he's had no controversy around him, and he just seems like such a sweetheart. You know, like this, he'd be willing to sit down with you and listen to all your stories and like just give you a perspective where you start laughing. That's how I feel about Randy Newman. I
Mhm.
think that he's forever going to be one of those people that when he sadly passes away one day, I would mourn, I would cry.
Mhm.
And that's because of what he's brought. Like I remember the first time hearing "You Got a Friend in Me," like when I had my kid, like Cass, when he started watching Toy Story, he loves Toy Story. I started bubbling because I didn't understand it when I was little, but when you have your own baby and they start seeing it, it's like you do have a friend in me, honey. And it's and it's
His Pixar scores made much more sense after listening to more of this.
yeah.
Like one of the songs, it felt like, and I don't want to say recycled, but he kind of used the same. One of the songs, I forgot which one it was, feels like the one where Buzz is trying to fly out the window and then he doesn't. Like I forgot which song it
Oh,
I
was.
know which one you're talking. I bet it was probably The World Isn't Fair
Yes,
is
that's what
probably
it was.
yeah.
Yes, yes.
which that is literally like so probably top three favorite song of all time
Hmm.
is The World Isn't Fair because it's brilliant and hearing him tell the story about it before is like the best part ever where he's literally just like I wanted to write a song about going to an orientation where there's young moms and I'm this old guy.
Say, well, back to Joe.
Okay.
Yep.
I preferred Randy Newman's version to Joe Cocker's.
And I do too. I think that it's yeah, Joe Cocker's it's you can tell it's like it's up there. It's too high.
It's
He's
it's kind of sexy in the not sexy way. It's kind of like
well, I
come
think
on over.
it's kind of to picture Randy Newman doing anything sexy is kind of the funniest thing in the world to me.
Yes,
And
because
I because he's a frog man, and I love it. Like, and he's always looked like a frog man. And I also like look at pictures of him when he's younger, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of how I look. And I guess I'm destined to be that frog man, which I'm all for. But
Oh my God, you're the new Randy Newman.
I mean, that would be the greatest thing in the world. I would be so happy about that if I could be the next Randy Newman. But yeah, I was saying the world isn't fair. Yeah, that one is very cinematic and sounds very similar to the Buzz Lightyear flying song. Which, by the way, the Buzz Lightyear flying song is probably like one of the most like heart wrenching,
Yeah.
like that movie, that scene does not work without Randy Newman's score.
Mm-mm.
And in the book, the A Few Words in Defense of Our Country, that's the biography on Randy Newman, they talk about him coming in with the scores after the fact a lot of the time for some of these Pixar movies, and they wouldn't hit the same because one, the music is great, like they're huge, like perfectly like well written pop songs, like hooky, but then also super dramatic and a film score. And he kind of finds a way to do both, which is really hard. If you liked this Randy Newman album, there's a great one that he put out early on that's just called Randy Newman Live. It's the only other live album I think he's done. And it's just him and a piano in like some office at
Oh,
Capitol
I'm in.
Records.
I'm
It's
into that.
that's and he's young and he does a lot of the same songs, but he literally just like someone announces like Capitol recording artist Randy Newman, and there's like a spattering of applause. He walks up and he's just like, I'm gonna play some songs, and then he plays a couple, and then he's like, what do you want to hear? And then some guy yells out a song, and he just plays it, and it's just that's all it is. It's fantastic because it's just him and a piano, and I think that's also what's great about the Live in London record is because he splits it up. Not every song. He doesn't play short people with the full orchestra. It's just him. And that works out perfectly. And he kind of goes back and forth between doing that, giving the orchestra a break, and then he's able to play some songs. He's he's way smarter than people give him credit for. And I've always been like that kind of person. I want to talk about like why aren't more people talking about Randy Newman?
Yeah, no,
Yep.
100%. I mean, his banner reminded in between songs reminded me of Tom Waits. Like, why isn't he? I mean, just because Tom Waits has the voice that we all associate Tom Waits with, his songs are just as smart as Tom Waits are.
Yeah, but he's like he gets kind of thrown into this like novelty thing. Like people throw
Mhm.
Randy Newman into like this novelty singer, and it's like, but he's just as prolific as Tom Waits, as Bob Dylan,
Mhm.
and Leonard Cohen, and all of those like right because they're from the same time period too. Like
Yeah,
that's another weird thing. Like you know, Randy was a contracted songwriter for Capitol, you know, all through the six before he put out a record of his own. Like
Mhm.
it was a long time that he was just a songwriter. And I just like people will just kind of lump him off to, oh well, he did Disney stuff, so it's like he can't count. He's not a real art. Again, I
Yeah,
guess
but
this
who
is
hasn't done Disney stuff?
oh
Elton
exactly
John, Phil
yeah.
Collins, and
Hmm.
and we still associate them as like gods.
Yeah, why does
Yeah.
Randy Newman get like this weird special treatment of like, oh no, he's not a he did that, and then he did that song about a dancing bear, and yeah, it's not real. It's like, what do you mean? Like
Yeah, but
you're
he
gonna
also did the soundtrack to Meet the Parents, or the film
Mhm,
score for that.
mhm.
And hands down, that's one of my favorite movies. And I will defend Randy Newman until the day that he no longer needs me to defend him.
That's right. Yep, we're here to say
We're
it. You heard
here,
it
Randy.
first, right here. Randy, we're here for you. We got you.
have you ever seen him play?
I have not. No, I really wish I have. I've
Mhm.
so before I got the job that I have now, my day job, I worked for a symphony as an in operations, and I pushed so hard in my 3 years at that symphony to be like, we need to get Randy Newman to come here
Yeah.
and play with the symphony, and no one would go for it. Like any chance I could, I was like, hey, like, well, we should get this big artist, and I was like, we should get Randy Newman, and everyone's like, I don't know if that'll work.
You're like,
Which I
I
guess,
do. I do. I have it
Yeah,
right here. I have
it
the
will work.
record. I have the record.
yeah,
It'll
no,
work.
I think they, yeah, again, it was more like, well, he didn't really, Yeah, they had a bunch of. There was probably some political reasons. They probably were like, I don't know if that'll go over in rural Kentucky,
Yeah.
as well. And it's like, well, maybe not, but I would have really enjoyed it. Either way. So yeah, I've never got to see him live, and I probably won't because I know he's not touring, doesn't really do many much traveling anymore. He's in his 90s, I think now. So but he's still writing, still doing stuff. I mean, he put out that record, the Dark Matter album. I guess it's probably like 7 years old now, but it's got
Yeah.
that Putin song on it that's great, and he's still doing
I think
a
you played the
ton.
Putin song on the John Mulaney show.
Oh, did I
I
haven't
think it
seen
was.
that. I can't remember what he played on that. I knew he played it on a Tiny Desk concert, and it was great.
Mhm.
But I guess I misspoke. He's 82. I looked it up, so he's not too old. He can still be doing this.
Elton John's still running around. Wait, is no wait, he did his farewell tour.
That doesn't count. No, everyone does a
No,
farewell tour like
X did a
three
farewell
times.
tour too. So
Kiss
did
did
X.
5 the same
Yeah.
year. And now they're on tour again just as holograms or something like that.
I think my big thing with Randy Newman is I just want just like Randy Newman needs an EGOT 100% because he should have an EGOT and he
What does
doesn't.
what does he
Wait,
have?
I
I'm sure
did
he's got a Grammy. What does he? Oh, do you not know what an EGOT is?
no, I do. I just thought he did have an EGOT.
He's never gotten a Tony, and
Oh.
I'm trying to see if he actually. Okay,
It's
so he
that.
has a Grammy, he has an Emmy, and he has an Oscar. But he's never gotten a Tony. He has written 3 musical, or well, at least I don't know if they ever did it on Broadway,
Which
but he
one?
wrote that. He wrote Faust, like a Faust musical
Yeah.
that's
Uh,
really good, and it's got like he's got a bunch of people who like did like the characters and stuff in it. And it's a great record, but I don't think
I
it ever
think at
hit
one point they
Broadway.
were doing a Three Amigos musical, and I think John Mulaney was going to write it, and then I think that's when all that stuff happened, and he had to go to rehab and stuff. I think
Hmm.
John Mulaney was going to write it, and I wouldn't have been surprised if he would have done the music.
I think that would be fantastic. And who knows? He could be working on a
Something.
ton of like he could be working on I mean thousands of things right now because I was
Mhm.
like my wife knew him from Monk because the Monk theme
Oh,
song he
that's
did.
right.
Oh yeah.
That's right, and you forget that he's
I
the Monk theme
forgot
song.
that.
Yeah, I didn't think
I'm
about that.
like yeah he's been nominated for 22 Oscars and he's only won 2 and that's insane.
He's been
But
robbed.
he is the most his family is the most nominated Academy Award family ever because his uncle was Alfred Newman, who was a famous score writer. And
Oh, I
then I'm
didn't know
trying to
that
see.
too. But it makes sense
Yeah,
because and his brother does too, right? Isn't
I don't know.
Thomas Newman his brother?
I think Thomas is yeah Tom. No, Thomas is his cousin,
Oh, okay.
and then his because one of his kids, Eric Newman, one of his kids is a producer in L.A. and he's
Yeah.
produced a lot of stuff and like they're very like a very connected
Family.
like family in just within that. But yeah, I think his family, I'm looking at like the Newmans, yeah, with a collective 92 nominations in various music categories between him and then his family members.
Yeah.
Been nominated 92 times. It's insane. And 3 Emmys, 7 Grammy Awards, but no Tony. Give Randy Newman a Tony.
Just give him
Just
let him
get
EGOT. He
Just give
deserves
it
the
to him.
EGOT.
yeah, just let him have it.
How do we start a petition?
Do they?
And Forrest, I feel like we should actually have this clip so we can post it on Instagram and tag Tony Awards in it. How do we start a petition to get Randy Newman a Tony Award?
Yeah, I'm sure we're not the only ones.
No, we can't be. But then I mean, and just like all the other stuff, like reading because I was reading up on like all the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame stuff because the recent
Yeah.
ceremony and all that. It's like Randy Newman was nominated in 2013. That's way too long. That's sad. That
Oh, he's not in
man,
it yet?
he is. He was not. No,
Oh,
he was inducted in 2013. It just took
gotcha.
so long. Like his career is so massive, and he's got like a 60-year career, and they're like, okay, we'll let him in now.
Yeah. Uh,
But yeah,
The White
it's
Stripes
been,
doesn't even have to be a band anymore, and they get inducted.
right. And I love the White Stripes. That's not I'm nothing against the White Stripes. I'm glad that they're in there. I appreciate the White Stripes, but
They're not Randy
come
Newman.
on.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not
Come
Randy
on.
they're not
Like,
Randy Newman. Exactly.
I don't care
Yeah.
how many Burt Bacharach
seriously.
covers you have.
To our listeners out there, I just want to say that you might not be able to see our expressions, but we're having the time of our lives right now.
Well, now that Old Man Music Hour is over, um,
Yeah.
No.
all right. So your most recent one was Supercrush, SODO Pop.
Yes. Which
That
I don't
is
know. Go ahead.
that's a fucking banger. I'd never heard of them. And
Same.
that's where you came in. I was about to describe that, and now I can't remember what I was going to say. So now I'm going to sound like an ignorant fucking tool on the podcast, even though I am. And I did not know who they were, but when I listened to it, and this is where, oh yeah, now I remember what I was going to say because it just came back. The psychedelic effects in their song, it became so full circle with the fact that you started with the Monkees, because it was just I can't remember the name of the song now because yeah, but it was one of them, and it just reminded me of one of the Monkees songs, and I was just like, it was just a psychedelic aspect of it, and I just went, this makes sense. Everything made sense now.
Yeah, and it's so like I didn't even think about that. Like it does coming full circle and going through that. I hadn't even thought about that, but that's very true. And I don't even know like when I heard about Super Crush, honestly, because I know some of the connection, but honestly, I think like this band, it's one of those bands that like I found the album cover before I listened to it, and I remember being like, these guys get design really, really well. Like
Mm-hmm.
the SODO Pop album cover is fantastic. I mean, every album cover they've done has been really good, but like it's just like visually, I'm like, this makes me want to listen to it, and I have no idea why. And then I found out like it's Mark Palm, who was cutting a scene like the metal and hardcore scene, and so there's that kind of connection. But the songs are so like perfect pop songs. Like
Mm-hmm.
they should not like. There's no reason that these should not be like template for like huge like radio hits because they're just so smart and the hook is great. Like I get these songs stuck in my head all the time, and I feel like I listen to this record like all the time. Like
Yeah,
it was probably like it's just you can just put it on because the songs aren't long, they're not too long, they're not anything weird. There's no lull in the album. It's just perfect, like straight through, no skips at all.
exactly. And it's one of those hygge. It's hygge to listen to it. Like walking around doing something and just having it on in the background. So fucking nice. And then because I have to be really honest, I can't stop listening to the album. I'm having a really hard time just like stop just putting it away and doing something else. I feel like it should be on all the time and everybody should hear it. And I feel sorry for my neighbors if they can hear my music because
No, they
I
should be
am
thanking you because they're
Sorry,
getting to
not
listen to it
sorry,
too.
because everybody should be listening to this.
Exactly, yeah.
my pregnant neighbor and her kid should be so happy that I'm doing this to them all week. But no, it was so hygge. And as you said, like the album cover, it's so simple, but so captivating. Like
It's just so,
the
yeah.
tennis balls in different colors, it's so pleasing.
And I know, like, I think I
Ah,
read an interview with him at some point where he's like, because he does all the design stuff. Like, Mark Palm is like principal songwriter and then does all the design work and layout for the records.
mhm.
And it's just so, like, who thinks to just we're going to put the band name all over tennis balls and we're just going to take a picture of a bunch of tennis balls with the band name on it. It's like, that's just brilliant. And you look at that album and it's like, I know what this album sounds like from looking at it. Like I can be like, this is exactly what this is. It's poppy, it's smart, it's like full sounding. There's nothing like it's kind of like bubblegummy a little bit.
Oh,
Like
and I love
It,
it.
you know what it reminded me of? And I said it, but I listened to a lot. It reminded me of Teenage Fan Club a bit.
sure,
Oh
absolutely,
yeah.
yeah. There's definitely some of that. And then I remember so on Supercrush's on their Spotify page, he put together playlists that were like the songs that inspired the
Hmm.
albums, and so you can listen.
Yeah.
And that playlist is fantastic as well because there's some Teenage Fan Club, there's Guided by Voices,
Ooh.
there's a lot of Matthew Sweet, which I'm like I can definitely hear there's some Matthew Sweet in there, and just like this weird like power pop stuff that kind of gets pushed off to the side a little bit. It's like it's like
Yeah.
somebody list like, but it's just it's I can't get past how smart the writing is with the music. Just the music is so good, and the hooks are insane. Like, and obviously, like he can shred on guitar. The whole
Oh
band is
yeah.
killing it on this record, and just like reading, you can read the song titles, and you're just like every single one of these songs. Like the song title alone is like that's a killer line. It's just great.
Yeah, but
Just
Yeah.
it's so funny.
uh,
I'm looking at the list now,
mhm,
and it has Teenage Fan Club
mhm.
and the Birds Cheat Tricks on there. And that's the one that I specifically heard, and Super Drag and Raspberries and Wilco. And Wilco's such, I don't feel like Wilco gets brought in as inspiration enough. And I don't know why. I have it. I feel like that, but it's all I don't know if it's because I feel like people don't appreciate Wilco for what Wilco is, or that people just have a different idea of what Wilco is, where my idea is like it's something that you can just be inspired by. Like I like to listen to Wilco when I'm doing weird stuff like embroidery or sourdough because it's an easy listen. You're done.
Yeah. It's
You're
good.
in, you're out.
It's a good like I used to that used to be my favorite. Wilco used to be my favorite band to like barbecue to because it's
See?
super
Okay.
poppy and it's a
Yeah.
little there's a little
Hmm.
bit of an edge on it. So if I want to hear something, you know what I mean, like a little bit
Hmm.
of an edge on it. But I used to like to grill to Wilco.
Two souls that found each other right here. You heard it
Yeah.
first, people. We have to do stuff when we listen to Wilco. But
My wife
it's
always makes
just
fun. My wife always makes fun of me because I'll be like, "Oh, there's a new Wilco album out," and she
yeah.
goes, "That is the whitest thing you've ever said in your life."
Well, to be fair,
Yeah.
um, you
I
do listen to it while you barbecue. So
Yeah, I mean, I don't do it as much anymore. I don't have the room anymore. But when I did, that was the soundtrack.
yeah, but it's such. But again, it's an easy listen. I feel like when I've spoken to people about Wilco, it's like, ugh, that band, and it's like, what's with them? Like they're literally one of those bands that keep their head down and just do what they want to do because they can do what they want to do. So if I get excited, well, fuck you. There's a new Wilco song out. Yeah, you motherfucker. I've heard it 10 times and had 4 espressos to it. Woo!
I think that like because I was never a huge Wilco guy. I've kind of gone back in and appreciate Wilco because I think I was maybe not like a person who like would badmouth them or anything, but I was just like, oh, I didn't get it really because I think I associated Wilco with that like um the hipster coffee cigarettes vibe, like
Yeah.
of just like that's like their personality is coffee and cigarettes and that's it. And I was kind of like, oh, I don't know if I want to listen to that. But then now I've gone back and it's like, oh yeah, these are just really good pop songs that came out at a time when like acoustic guitar, coffee house music was kind of just like the norm or kind of the trend. But that doesn't mean that he wasn't like ganging up on that trend or on that bandwagon. They've been doing that for a long time before. And then I also just didn't recognize the weirdness and the psychedelic like pop stuff
Mhm.
that's in uh Yankee Hotel Foxtrot or any of those like that. Now
Yeah.
I'm going back to and I'm like, oh, these are really good. Like it's more than that, and I think like I appreciate it way more now. And I had never thought that I was like Wilco and Super Crush are connected in that way, but now hearing you say that, I'm like, oh, it makes perfect sense because they just write really good pop songs, and it's all about how you execute it, and that is what makes I guess my whole cycle is very full circle. It's like they have a template that they figured out, and they've executed this so well. It sounds really good. I think that's what like I like this Super Crush record better than a lot of Guided by Voices albums because Guided by Voices kind of they I appreciate the the insane amount of songwriting that that guy
Yes.
does, but sometimes it's like I need the record to sound clear, and this record
Mhm.
sounds perfect. It's like
Yeah.
a very like sonically it's a fantastic album. Like there's nothing hindering it, nothing is holding it back. The harmonies are great. All of it is just like everything about this record as a package is perfect. The visuals, the sound, and then the songwriting is just incredible.
And what's even better is that the vocalist Mike used to have a hardcore band.
Yeah. And it's wild. It's like why
Yeah,
like I would
but
have never thought that.
no, we were talking about it earlier. And I can't remember the name of it. Now I can't. Doing it alone, going it alone, something alone. Um, and like, and the thing is, now that I've heard his voice attached to Super Crush, I don't ever think that I'd be able to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna go listen to his old hardcore band for shits and giggles. Now it's like, play me some of that sweet pop music, man.
Yeah.
Stop screaming in my ear.
Well, and I know it's like I was looking at the connections because there's a ton
Mhm.
of weird, like the bass player recorded the record and he had done stuff with Shook One, Self Defense Family, and Ceremony. And then Jackson Long is a collaborator he did stuff with Wilco and Death Cab for Cutie,
Mm.
mixed by the guy who did some Dinosaur Jr. and Sonic Youth Records and Pixies, and then mastered by a guy who did REM. And it's like, and the Posies, and it's like, oh, that's why this record sounds so perfect.
Yeah.
Is because like you just put that the pedigree of people
Yeah.
who worked on this record is insane.
You literally put all the ingredients down and made the perfect cake. And now all of us eating it are going like, oh, nothing's ever going to be better. And I haven't actually heard the second album. Um, not out of
Well,
not out of being lazy. It's not that. It's just I don't know, fear.
well, and I will say, so like this one that's the last Soto Pop is the last full length they've done because they've released a couple like singles and EPs.
Yeah, I was
They're
about to
also
say peace.
very good.
Oh yeah.
They're like great singles, but like they haven't released anything like since it because like before I think I first heard them when they were only doing 7 inches because they released everything just like they released like 6, 7 inches and that was it. And I remember being like, that's weird for a pop band to do because that's typically something you see a hardcore guy do
Hmm.
or a punk band. I was like, oh well, that makes sense. That's kind of what they're tying into. But yeah, when because Never Let You Drift Away, which is that their first full length, which is the collection of singles, is also very, very good. But it's no Soto Pop because Soto Pop is just it's insane.
You think it's
It's
because it's singles and that's a little more like the album's like more cohesive rather than just being like,
Yeah.
hey, we wrote a song.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I definitely feel like yeah, for sure. It doesn't flow. The flow is not there, and that's where the flow is so good in Soto Pop. Like it's
Yeah, because otherwise you can have like singles that are so mid or so bad, and then when like the full album is released, you can go back and listen to the singles on like in their correct order and be like, I was so wrong about the single, you know?
mhm.
Or you could be like, oh, the everything's perfect except the single because now you've made up your mind about hating the single. So I've done that. I've done that. I'm not proud of myself for doing that, but I've done that. And then you just end up hating the entire album because it's like, it's not the old stuff. And it's like, no, it's called evolution and growth.
Do you feel like you would have connected this album at an earlier age?
Yes. Yeah, I feel like I would have. I feel like if I it very well could have been one that I would be kind of like nervous to say that I connected to like younger if I was in like a super if I was like in my late to the core phase where it's like, oh well, if it's not hardcore, it's not good. Because I went through that phase. Same with like, I went through there's like no good music existed before or after 1996.
Yeah.
And it's like it's just dumb. But you go through those phases, and this record coming out right at COVID probably helped something to do with that because it's happy, it's bright, and so putting that on was a big change. And even like the songs aren't all bright and like the subject matters aren't all like super happy. um I think the first single I ever heard from Supercrush is the song that's like I don't want to be sad anymore. And that's all the whole hook is just I don't want to be sad anymore. And it's great. But it's just like, oh, he just doesn't want to be sad. So that's the whole, and it's kind of like that, that like bubblegummy 60s pop thing that's just like they would just say it. And I kind of like that. I don't need too much nuance in my lyrics or in everything. It's like if you want to tell me about a song that you're sad, you can just say I'm sad or I don't want to be sad anymore. It's like it's simple without being like juvenile, if that makes sense.
And it's amazing because we don't have to sit on Genius at 11 p.m. and be like, what is this line about? Okay. It is actually about him being sad.
Yeah, exactly. I would
Very
love to read
straightforward.
the lyrics genius comments on this album because I bet it's very I think he's sad. Yep. We
Yep,
nailed it.
he's
Next
sad.
song. What's the next song? Yeah.
But that's the thing and that's one of the things that I really enjoy with the music because that's one of the things you got in the 60s and the 70s. It's that straightforwardness, the no bullshit lyricism where it's like you call a spade and you call a douche a douche. There's no like, yeah, I don't know. He secret codes and being like, I'm fine, but then there's the little genius tag going like, she says she's fine, but she's ready to murder you.
Yeah, it's very, and it also it has something to do very much with like the way it's delivered because I do think it's like you can be simple
Mm-hmm.
and like I don't know, I'm trying to think of like a good example, but it's like, the specific way that the song is delivered, the specific way that the lyrics are delivered. Um, I mean, I guess on SODO Pop, there's the song that like, have you called him by my name? Or have you called him by my name? Like that
Yeah.
song. And it's like, that is a subject in a song lyric that I have heard in thousands of 70s, 80s, and 90s rock songs of have you called him by my name while we were making love. But the way he says it sounds completely fresh for some weird reason. It's the way it's delivered and the melody weaves through it.
But
And it's just, yeah, it's killer.
yeah, but it also sounds so innocent the way he says it. It's
Yeah.
like, and then that's the freshness to it because it feels like you're being, well, he's talking about like his first major heartbreak.
hmm It's
And
not
that's
macho like most
no.
other things. Like I feel like anytime I've heard it in like I know there's like, Aerosmith songs, or it feels like that's something that like a sentiment that would be talked about in
Mhm.
that, or even like Kiss or any of these songs. And it's like that's like this macho energy, and he's not coming at it from being macho, and it's not coming from being like overly sensitive either.
Mm-mm.
It's like right in the middle, and I think that's what makes it work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like we're having a good vibe about this particular album because it's so exciting.
It's so good, like legitimately.
Yes.
And I feel like a lot of people, I mean, I had never heard anybody else talk about this band when
Yeah, I
because
know.
I have a Super Crush shirt that I wear like at like conventions or out and about. And I think I've had one person ever be like, oh, that's a cool Super Crush shirt. I'm like, wait, like, It's
you
like
know.
yeah, we it eventually like it's just immediately it's like, oh, we became best friends. Like we
Mm.
speak the language. It was like, and it's just yeah, it's just smart. It's just smart music. It's good music, and everybody should listen to that record and support that band whenever they tour. And I don't know how often they're touring or how much they're playing anymore, but you got to check them out.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so with all these records, do you feel like there's a theme or a through line that kind of ties them together?
I didn't think there was until
No.
until speaking with all of you and Karina brought it up. It's like, yeah, I think that it is. It's like it all comes down to, I guess, a combination of like smart songs, but then also accessibility. Because Calibretto 13 is kind of the weird outlier in that, where like I don't think Calibretto really set out to write great pop songs at all. I don't think that was their goal. I don't think that's what they thought they were doing. I don't think any of them look back on that time and they're like, we wrote great music. They're probably just like, we wrote songs about what we were feeling. And so, and I really like that. And I love that. And it did feel accessible. It's kind of like, I always, it's like, it's not like, I heard that music and I thought I could do that. Not saying that it's not good, like that looks easy, but more so just like, oh, that's attainable.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the only one that's kind of that's a little bit of an outlier in it, because if I had only heard, you know, the Monkees or even like other CDs and albums that I thought about putting on there, like, you know, like Led Zeppelin or stuff, like if I had only heard that music, I would have been like, man, music's hard. I don't know if I could do that. And then I heard Calibretto and I was like, oh, music's hard, but you can also do something like this. It's a little bit more like bubbly or a little more fun. Like I can tell they're having fun. And that was, I think, the big thing there. And then as I got older, kind of going through, they're just still writing great
Mhm.
hooks and great pop songs. Randy Newman, the Monkees, Randy Newman, and Supercrush kind of fit, I think, a little bit more together in the sense that they're just writing great hooks. But Calibretto being the outlier in that, just like, oh, that's attainable. There's hooks there, but they're not, they're not they're not radio songs. They're
Yeah.
not, they didn't break through the market or anything like that. But they did, it was attainable, and that was also cool. Because and then being from my home state, that's
Mm.
also a neat thing, because I very much like, once I see somebody do it, then it's like, oh, it's doable. Like,
Mhm.
um, if I had only watched music on TV or like watched Saturday Night Live or watched people play on Letterman and stuff like that, it's like I would look at that and be like, oh, that's neat. But then, Calibretto played at the same venues that I played at later when I had bands, like, because they came to my hometown a lot, and I didn't see them play there, but I saw his later bands and all that. And it's like, okay, yeah, it's attainable, it's doable, we can keep doing it. And also, I think I will say, Calibretto, the start of Calibretto 13, which I guess this through line does exist through it. It's like it showed you could change. Like they evolved, evolving from a Christian folk punk band that kind of
Mhm.
sounds like the Dead Milkmen, and then dropping the identity of a religious band. That's a tough thing to do, especially if you're not Creed. Like you
Or
think like
under oath.
you're not, or under, oh yeah, you're not like this bigger name. That's really hard to do because your whole circuit is based on playing
Yeah.
youth groups. And now it's like Harley Poe's not going to your youth group and playing your Bible study with their songs of transvestites being cannibals. That's not happening. And so how do you do that? So it very, and they were, accessible. Like I said, I sent him a message on MySpace and he responded. I had never thought that would ever happen. I was like, this is the guy that is the reason I write songs, and he's talking to me. And I bring it up to him all the time, and I'm sure it makes him really uncomfortable. And if Joe listens to this, he will be like, I am uncomfortable, but that's fine because it's the
Joe,
truth.
it
It's the
is.
reason.
Yeah.
It's
Joe,
the
it's
reason.
okay to feel uncomfortable sometimes. We all do.
Yeah. And yeah, it is like, it's punishing in a lot of ways where it's like, but yeah, that's the reason I did it, because it became accessible. It was easy. It was easy for me to put myself in that same position, and I was able to see that. And then as you dig deeper into music, you learn more about the structure, and then just like the simplicity of just writing
Mm.
a good song. that like I think Randy Newman makes sense with that. He's writing very complex music that's, you know, score based and emotion based and instrumentation is a lot, but it all comes from that him sitting at the piano and writing a simple hook. It's like he can play everything on the piano and it still sounds good. It's still a good song. That's kind of where I learned, like when I was writing songs, I was like, if the song works acoustically, if the song is still a good song, if I'm sitting here with no effects, no microphone, no nothing, me and an acoustic guitar and the song works, then it's a good song. If it needs all the bells and whistles surrounding it to make it good, then we've lost the point.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's probably true of like all of the songs and all of these records that the 4 records that I picked, like they're all just good songs and they all work for what they are.
Thank you for listening to 4 Records. Please check us out on Instagram at 4 Records Podcast or email us at 4recordspodcast@gmail.com. And as always, please keep up with your favorite bands at dyingscene.com. Thank you for listening to 4 Records. Please check us out on Instagram at 4 Records Podcast or email us at 4recordspodcast@gmail.com. And as always, please keep up with your favorite bands at dyingscene.com.